Hello guys, welcome to your own channel. Okay, I am your trainer Prachi Shah. Now, in our previous recordings, we have completed our chapter first. In today's session, we start with chapter 2, a fresh topic, a very interesting one. We all know about it, but something nice we'll be doing in a way more clear manner. We will be in our foundation. We have seen bits and bits of everything. Now we'll be doing a thorough understanding, a clear picture of everything. Okay, now your second chapter says corporate entities. So what do you mean by corporate entities? Various types of corporate entities. What are the registration procedures for incorporating this thing? What is MOA? What is AOA? So basically, tomorrow, if you want to set up a company, what all things you will be needed, what all types of companies are available, this chapter will help you to understand that. Please stay with me. Okay, आराम से पढ़ेंगे, अच्छे से पढ़ेंगे. Whatever like these things are there, no, which I feel कि एक brush up चाहिए. I will be talking a little extra on that also. But सबसे पहले, no, let us understand what do you mean by company, guys. Here basically company means together. Panis means bread. Okay, so company is one Latin word which is derived from word come and panis. Come means together and panis means bread. So ideally, initially company meant when two or more people are enjoying meal together, it becomes a company. Okay, gradually things evolved and company had a different interpretation. Okay, so as per one famous law of England, the concept of company has been defined. Please mark this, it is very important. It is a definition of company. See from here. Just 1 minute. Give me a minute's time, please. Law of England has defined some company as collection of individuals united in one body under special denomination, having perpetual succession under an artificial form, vested by the policies of law, capacity of acting in several respects as an individual, particularly for taking granting of property, for contracting obligation, and for suing and being sued, for enjoying privileges and immunities in common, and exercising a variety of political rights more or less extensive according to the design of its institution or power upon it, either at the time of its creation or subsequent period. Now guys, this is something very important. It can come as an MCQ or fill in the blanks. Can a company be a citizen of India? The answer is no. See, as per State Trading Company versus CTO, a company cannot have the status of citizen under the Constitution of India. Now, a company as an entity has several distinctive features, very important. Now, sometimes, in exam they ask you, explain what is a company and give the features of a company. First, it is a corporate personality, we know that. Perpetual succession. What do you mean by perpetual? Irrespective the members are there or no, company goes on and on. So company is separate from its members. Okay, separate property. Company has a legal existence which is separate from its members. So company can buy, sell, everything. So buy assets, sell assets. It is one independent entity which is existent in the eyes of law, which is separate from its member. Transferability of shares. So the moment you transfer a share, you get a new member. Capacity to sue. So you can see here, if you've read State Trading Corporation, so it is one company. Okay, so company can always sue someone and company can always be sued. And here corporate personality, it is a corporate entity which is separate from its members. So these are the characteristics of your company. Okay, now one very important thing guys, please, I am making a chart please make it for yourself for your reference. So basically, companies, basically you have, ideally guys, there are only two types of companies: private company and public company. Only two. But this various types that we are seeing are further types of private and public. So if I say company limited by shares, तो वो private भी हो सकती है, public भी हो सकती है. Okay, so basically there are only two forms of companies, private and public, but all these forms that we are studying right now can either be private or be public. Understood? So first is, please write down for your knowledge, classification based on incorporation. The next is classification based on liabilities. Then classification based on control. Then your new breed. And last is others. So basically, itni types of companies. Now when I talk about this, one is registered company, second is unregistered company, and the third is statutory company. Okay, now when I talk about liability, so limited liability, unlimited liability, and third is guarantee. When I talk about control, it can be a government company, holding company, and third is subsidiary company. Okay, new breed mein you have your OPC, your small company, your LLC, your dormant company, and your Nidhi company. What are all this? I will tell you, don't worry, don't scratch your head. Section 8 company, producer company, foreign company, investment company, and public insurance, public financial insurance company. So basically guys, there are this many types of companies. Okay, basically two होता है, private और public, उससे ऊपर कुछ भी नहीं है. But under private and public, you have so many subtypes. So if your organization suppose is registered, it can be registered as private also, it can be registered as public also. If your company is a holding company, तो holding public भी हो सकती है, private भी हो सकती है. Getting the logic? So ये सब इसके subtypes है. So if you see that way, there are two types of companies, private company and public company, and under them you have this 5 heads, that is incorporation, companies based on liabilities, companies based on control, a new segment that has come up into, and others. Okay, so when I talk about guys incorporation, what do you mean by incorporation? Yes, very simple English. Incorporation basically means the process. Incorporation basically is the process through which the life of the company comes into existence. I repeat, incorporation is the process through which life of a company comes into existence. Okay, so now when you are incorporating a company, as we say, you incorporate it in 3 forms. One is registered form, second is unregistered, and third is statutory form. So when I say registered, guys, registered is simply nothing when you register your company with ROC, okay, as per Companies Act 2013, it becomes a registered company. So all your companies, whatever it is, be it limited, unlimited, government, holding, subsidiary, they would either be a registered company, either it will be an unregistered company, or it will either be a statutory company. Okay, now guys, this unregistered companies are also, I hope you are clear with registered. Okay, so companies which are registered under Companies Act 2013, okay, are all called as companies, registered companies. So when you are incorporating any company, so जो भी ROC के requirements है, that is name, approval, जो भी आपके INCs that you have to file so that the companies come into existence. So जो company के registration का जो process है, which Companies Act has prescribed, when you go with all of that, okay, it becomes a registered entity. Now unregistered is one such, which you get or which is passed on through kings and queens. Okay, it is also called as a chartered company. So we in India, we do not have the system of king and queen. So companies which are set up by king and queens, which do not require any registration under Companies Act 2013, are considered as unregistered company. So in India ये सब कुछ भी नहीं है, so this concept is not there. However, like your initial East India Company during the British rule, which was there in India, was of course one unregistered company because it was set up by the Queen. Okay, so ये उधर से आया हुआ है. So that time it was there, but now it is not there, so it's not required only. So incorporation में we have basically two types of companies, that is registered companies and statutory companies. So unregistered or chartered company as such nothing is there. But if you want to know, for your knowledge, I am telling you, okay, companies which have come to you through kings and queens, it is called as unregistered company. Okay. Then statutory company. Statutory companies are such companies which are set up by special provisions of government. Okay, तो ये company है, but they are not governed or they do not abide by company law. See, when it is a registered company, every registered company has to follow or work according to the Companies Act 2013. ओके, तो जो भी उस एक्ट में बोला हुआ है, जो भी compliances prescribed है, और whatever method or whatever is being told, every company has to follow that. Okay, a breach of any of the provisions of Companies Act would be liable to any punishment or offense. So every registered company has to go by this. But when I talk about statutory company, they are the statutory bodies which are set up by the government of India. Okay, so they do not have to follow any company law. ओके, उनका पूरा एक्ट अलग होता है. सी फॉर एग्जाम्पल LIC. सो LIC इज अ कॉर्पोरेट बॉडी. ओके, इट इज अ कॉर्पोरेट एंटिटी, बट इट इज अ स्टैट्यूटरी कंपनी while it was incorporating. So LIC का पूरा एक्ट अलग है. It has nothing to do with Companies Act 2013. The norms of meetings, the compliances, the regular statutory annual filings, वो सारे compliances इनको applicable नहीं होते. So they are the bodies from the government and they have their own set of laws like your SBI. Okay, so यहाँ पे Companies Act नहीं लगता, though it is a corporate or a company form of business entity. Understood? So these are your three types of companies as per incorporation. So unregistered निकाल दिया गया है, reason being we are no longer governed by any king or queen. Okay, so nothing comes to us through them. That's why we have removed that. So no such company are in existence. Either it is registered company, registered under Companies Act 2013, and or statutory company, which is as per the government of India, which works as a company, but they will have their own rule or law. Understood? So this is your statutory body. Okay, so see, statutory companies are constituted by special act of Parliament or state legislature. The provision of Companies Act 2013 do not apply to any of them. Okay, what did I missed out something? Okay, the types of companies that can be registered are private, public, OPC. Difference between private and public I will explain it to you in a minute. Very detail में मैं समझाती हूँ, but let me first talk about types of companies, and while we are doing liability, that time I will explain it to you. Difference between this both of them. I will explain what is unlimited and limited liability. सब मैं आपको समझाती हूँ, ठीक है? So this is your statutory company and this is your registered company. Now let's talk about, I hope it's clear. Statutory means you have by law, and registered company, the companies which are incorporated under Companies Act 2013 or any other previous law. So Companies Act 1956 और उसके पहले भी अगर कोई company law आया है, so any of this law के अंदर अगर if it is established, it is called as registered company, and registered with the registrar of company fall under the category of registered companies. Clear? So companies which are registered under Companies Act 2013, 1956 or any other previous law which was associated to company and is registered with ROC, it is called as registered company, and in case if it is by a special act of parliament, it will be called as statutory company. Clear? So these are the companies as per incorporation. Now guys, before we go ahead, let us do a difference between private, public and OPC. Now guys, when I talk about this members, first difference we will understand. So we are understanding the concept of this thing. So उसमें first concept that we have to understand is the members. Okay, members. Minimum how many members in private? 2. In public minimum 7, and in OPC of course as it is a 1% company this. Now maximum कितने हो सकते हैं when I talk about private? Yes guys, any clue? Maximum member 200. Here I don't want to talk. Now guys, when I ask you about public company, I have always heard an answer कि मैम public में maximum कुछ बोला ही नहीं है. Maximum would be unlimited members. Now see, when I say no unlimited, I am not very satisfied with this word unlimited. Means we professionals do not talk like that. Now why? Reason being, guys, do you know what is authorized capital? Authorized capital is what? Authorized capital is the maximum amount of capital which a company can raise. Okay, मतलब इधर तक मैं आगे जा सकती हूँ. Of course, by special resolutions, if you are growing, you can of course increase that limit. But it is the capital which is written in your memorandum of association, and you cannot go beyond that. Means your issued capital can never exceed your authorized capital. मतलब that is the maximum margin or the benchmark जिधर तक आप जा सकते हो. Okay, so say for example, I am an ABC Public Limited, okay, company, और उसमें suppose my authorized capital is 10 lakh. Okay, 10 lakh is my authorized capital. Face value of the share is, assume 100 rupees का एक share है, the face value of share. So can I say divide by this for 10,000 shares is my authorized capital. Okay, now assume if we give one share to each shareholder, can my number of shareholders or the members of public limited go beyond 10,000? No. So a limit is there. So limit is how much? Up to the authorized capital of the company. Now tomorrow if I make this 10 lakh का 20 lakh, तो ये limit, upper limit 10,000 की 20,000 हो जाती है. So you cannot say कि the number of maximum members of public limited is unlimited. You can always say that there is always a upper cap which keeps on changing with respect to the authorized capital. Getting the logic? So as such कुछ prescribed by law नहीं है, but logically if I see, then there is a upper cap. Getting the logic? So this is a professional's thinking. If you talk to a layman, so we can, if you just read, a layman would always say कि हाँ ma'am इतना है, it's okay, clear. But if a professional would think, they would always think कि how can it be unlimited? Can it go beyond this? At any given chance or at any given point, what is the authorized capital divided by the face value, you get the number of shares. So can at any point the number of members of public limited go beyond that? No, they cannot. Getting the logic? So as such, by law there is no limit prescribed, but it is not unlimited logically. Clear? So first difference is private limited mein you have 2 members, set maximum 200. In public limited 7 is the minimum, and maximum there is a cap on the upper limit. Okay. Then OPC 1. Next is one very important thing. If I ask directors, how many directors are there? Minimum number of directors of a private limited 2, for public 3, for OPC 1. Now do you have any logic why 1, 2 and 3 is given? Now guys, if you guys are aware about it, then the ideal board is always 3. Okay, कि 3 directors होना चाहिए. Say for example, if there are 3 ladies in the board, okay, and if I want to pass any resolution of working, एक ने बोला red color अच्छा है, another one said no, black is better. Okay, so there will always be a dispute whether we should go for red or whether you should go for black. That one person who decides कि भाई black जाना है कि red जाना है, that's when resolutions gets passed very easily. Okay, so ideal board is always 3, because one way you will have a majority for doing the working of the business. But what happens is, guys, see now as per Companies Act, if you guys know, in your AOA, that is your Articles of Association, you have to give names of the directors of the company. So while incorporating your company, MOA and AOA, you have to register with ROC. Okay, so while you are incorporating your organization, okay, or your company, you have to have 2 directors who will do the management of the business. Because if you guys know, in any company, the members and directors are 2 different people. Directors are the people who are working, who are employees of the company, and members are the owners of the company. Okay, so while you are incorporating any company, you have to give names of your 2 directors of the company. Now AOA says that in case if the company fails to appoint directors at the time of incorporation of a company, then in that case, okay, so in case if your company fails to appoint directors while you are incorporating, whosoever has subscribed or whosoever has signed the subscribers page or whosoever is ready to be the shareholder or the member of the company, that person would be the director. So in case of private company, you have minimum 2 members who will subscribe. Once you are into practice, you will see the subscribers page where the members are ready to take few shares while incorporating a company. Okay, and they become the members of the company. So once they become the member of the company, and in case you have not appointed a director, then those 2 members would become a director. So to avoid the conflict of 2 laws of company law, we have kept that minimum directors of private can be 2. अगर मैं उसको 3 कर देती तो मेरे सब्सक्राइबर पेजेस में 2 ही है, तो AOA का वो क्लॉज रॉन्ग हो जाता. Same goes with OPC. So OPC mein also only 1 member is there. So I will have minimum 1 director. Getting the logic? So owing to that reason, we have the configuration of 1, 2 and 3. And in case of public company, you have 7 subscribers. So it's easy to have 3 directors. Getting the logic? So this is the reason why we have only 2 directors in case of private limited, because in case the members are unable to find the directors, then the members themselves would become the directors of the company. This is what AOA says, and you have to abide by that, and you have to disclose their names in your thing. So company law bolta hai ki in case if you are unable to find the directors, the subscribers only would become the director, and in case of private company there are only 2 subscribers, minimum subscriber. So agar if you are unable to find 3, then you have to do with Clear? Now guys, what happens is, in case of this, okay, tell me the maximum number of director. 15, 15 and 15. Okay, now can I increase this limit of 15? Yes, of course. Only thing you have to do is file a special resolution. So special resolution pass karke you can always increase this limit. So if you need suppose 3 more directors, special resolution pass karo, it becomes 18. You want 3 more, you can get 21. Okay, so jitna chahiye utna आप resolution pass करके you can of course increase the number of directors. Now guys, sometimes I have heard a people saying कि मैम अगर it's so easy एक special resolution ही pass करना है, तो what happens, ideally nobody goes to the meeting. Okay, tomorrow if you have a share and they say कि भाई you have to come for AGM or EGM, we will not go, we are not even interested. Okay, तो वही जो उनका प्रमोटर ग्रुप है वही बैठ के सब रेजोल्यूशन पास करते हैं, दे गेट इजी मेजोरिटी एंड ऑल थिंग्स कैन बी डन. ओके, तो ये 21 का इफ आई कंसिडर के मेरे फैमिली में 100 लोग हैं, मैं उन सबको डायरेक्टर बना दूँ, सबको रेम्यूनरेशन दे दूँ, so all my money will come into my in my house only and it will be very easy. So what happened is, Companies Act ne, they have not prescribed any limit on the maximum number of director, but very smartly they have told that irrespective of anything, even if you have 100 directors or 200 directors, total managerial remuneration to all the directors cannot exceed 11% of net profit. So now what happens is, initially if we were 5 directors, this 11% was getting distributed amongst we 5. Now if we become 15, this 11 only will come in 15. So मेरा remuneration low हो रहा है. So why would I want more and more directors? Here my income is reducing if I have more number of directors. Getting the logic? That's why companies themselves are not willing to have more directors. Clear? And all this you have to present them in front of your shareholders, so you cannot do any frauds out here. Okay, so this is one another difference. Now guys, next difference between private and public is capital clause. Initially 1 lakh was the minimum paid up capital and here it was 5 lakh. Then from 25th May 2016 one amendment came, sorry 21st May 2016 when an amendment came, and this requirement of minimum paid up capital was removed off. Reason being कि हम दो, suppose if I am setting up AB Private Limited, okay, this is mine and my husband's company. Assuming we two are only the shareholders, we two are the directors of this company and we are setting up of this company. Now why do I block my 1 lakh rupee in this company? मेरा अगर काम उससे कम में हो रहा है, so why will I manage this? Why is this hypocrisy needed? As and when money would be needed, we would raise the equity. Why do you want to block 1 lakh rupee in the company? Okay, so in case if my work is happening in 50,000, why do I block 1 lakh here? Because you have to deposit it in the bank account. So why do I block it? Why is the minimum requirement? As and when needed, I would raise the capital for my company. Getting the logic? So this, to remove this hypocrisy, this minimum capital clause was removed from 21st of May 2016. Okay, next guys, I wanted to say, okay, when I say private and public, what is the main difference guys? See, when I say private, no guys, private is a bunch of close people, your own family, your own friends who have one common interest, okay, and they want to do or work together, okay, and set up one business, okay, जो उसका खुद का separate entity हो, which is different from us. That's why we come up with the private form. And public, as we know, is generally open. So private is always, as the name suggests, a close knit or a bunch of people. Now recently I was just going through Ramaya. Ramaya is like a Bible of company law. I don't think so anyone on this earth can claim that I have done complete Ramaya. इतना detailed analysis, इतना detailed पढ़ाई है कि मतलब every time we are solving something, that Ramaya is a reference for us कि हम बैठ के पढ़ेंगे कि what is there in that. Okay, so उसका एक line है which says, Ramaya says, see, private limited is a company set up by closely knit people who wants to work together as a separate entity. Okay, so well he has explained this. It's a group. Okay, it's a group of closely knit people, means that bunch of connected people who wants to work together. They want to work together as a separate entity. मतलब हम लोगों को साथ में काम करना है, but a separate identity होना. So company would be different from us. That's what is a private limited company. Is it very conceptually clear what is the difference between private limited and a public limited, guys? Is there any problem, any doubt anywhere? So just in your material, I missed out that thing. I directly jumped to types of entities. So see, section 3 of Companies Act, read with rules, state a company may be formed for any lawful purpose by 7 members where the company is public and 2 or more where the company is private. 1 person where the company is OPC. So basically these are the 3 types of companies. Okay, and under them we have so many types. Okay, by subscribing their name or his name to memorandum and complying by the requirement of law. A company formed under subsection 1 may either be company limited by shares. So we have spoken about limited by shares में registered, unregistered and statutory company. Company limited by guarantee, unlimited company. Okay, so yeah, these are the various types of companies that we have spoken about. So this is company limited by, this are by incorporation that we have studied. So statutory कौन सा होता है, which is prescribed by, what is wrong with this? Yeah, statutory में government और special act of parliament. Okay, this is registered under Companies Act 2013. Okay, with ROC. This is your this thing. And here unregistered or chartered company, they come from approval of king or queen. In India we do not have this. East India Company is one such example. Okay, so this is your types of companies by incorporation. Now types of companies based on liabilities. Now first is company limited by shares. So here what do you mean by company limited by shares, guys? See, liability, company based on liability, limited and unlimited. Okay, so when I say limited by shares, it is members face value. Say for example the face value of share is 100 and 70 has been called up. तो my liability कितनी बाकी है 30 rupees. Okay, so whatever is the face value of share, the member's liability is limited only till that much. This is called as company limited by shares. So say for example market price of the share has become 120, okay, and the face value is 100. So मेरी liability कितनी है? Only rupees 100. I do not have to pay anything more than that. This is called as company limited by shares. So whatever is the face value of the share, the liability of the member is only limited to that. And in case of unlimited company, I'll just give you an example of company limited by shares. Say for example, okay, so company limited by shares, I'll just give you an example. Supposingly there are 4 friends, A, B, C and D. Okay, now they all wanted to go to a restaurant for dinner, supposingly. Okay, so they thought कि भाई we will go like that कि भाई whatever each eats, okay, they pay for that. So if you eat sandwich, you have to pay for that. If you eat dabeli, you have to pay for that. If you eat pav bhaji, you have to pay for that. If you eat dosa, you have to pay for that. Okay, so one of the friends C told कि नहीं भाई, we are friends, things don't work this way. 2-2 रुपए का हिसाब नहीं होता. We'll do one thing, whatever bill comes, we'll chip in. Okay, so they told okay, we'll do that. Now then what happens is C is a person who might give money, who might not give money. Okay, he is very tension वाला आदमी कि वो देगा नहीं देगा, we are not sure about it. So what they told कि we do one thing, each one contributes 500 in the pocket, and whatever bill comes we would pay that, and the remaining we will distribute. Okay, now suppose 500 they all give. This one gave 500, this one gave 500, this one gave 300, and this one gave 500. He told that in case if my share comes 500, I would pay the balance 200, and if not, it's okay, my 300 is already there. Okay, so bill, they all went and the bill came exact 2000. Now this person, okay, told I did not like the food at all, so for me it's not worth paying so much, okay, because I did not like the food, I did not enjoy the food, so might as well I don't pay so much for the thing. Okay, so मेरा share सिर्फ मैं 200 कम दूंगा. So do you think that is allowed or that is valid? Bill 2000 आया, so your share is 500. You like it or not, you will have to pay this or no? Yes or no? So yes, you will have to pay. You like a company, whether you are making loss in that company is a different story. Your liability towards the company is whatever is the face value. So this 500 here, guys, is the face value. Whether the company is making profit or loss, if you are the shareholder of the company, whatever is unpaid amount or uncalled amount, you will have to pay on the share. So your liability is limited up to the face value. So say for example, face value of the share is 100, okay, and tomorrow if the company is making losses और उसका market price 70 rupees है, the company has called for 70 rupees already, okay, of the face value. 70 rupees call कर दिया, 30 is yet to be called. Now the company is making losses and the market price of the share has fallen down to 70 rupees. So ये 30 rupees, will the shareholder pay? Yes or no? The answer is yes, they have to pay because their liability is limited to the face value of the share. Forget about the market. So this much, whether you like it or not, you will have to pay. Clear? So this is called as company limited by shares. And next is unlimited company. Unlimited company means the liability of the member is unlimited, means it will come on your personal assets also. It will take off in case of any need arises, okay, if the company is unable to make clear of the debts, okay, or clear of the losses of the company, then the personal assets of the members are liable to set off the losses of the company. तो इस तरह का liability. Now tell me, if any company has unlimited liability, do you think any investor will invest in these companies? Even if I take 1 share or if I take 20 share, my liability remains same. मतलब मेरे personal assets, if 100 रुपये का एक शेयर खरीदा है, okay, face value समझो 1000 रुपये, I am making profit of only 900 rupees on this share. For this 900 rupees share, do you think I will put or I will oblige all my personal assets? Do you think? Will I ever do that? Do you think any investor is fool to invest in a company where the liability is unlimited? Do you think any investor will ever do that? Then why do you think Companies Act has recognized such form of corporate entity? Socho, why do you think? And this is into existence, your MOA, okay, that is your products, MOA के cosmetics और वो सब आता है, but MOA company was incorporated as an unlimited company. Why do you think this is there? Any idea, any clue? Why do you think or how do you think any investor would invest in this company? And they get very good investors, huh? So one share के सामने इतनी liability है, then why do you think any company would think of doing that? The only answer is, guys, this companies which are registered as in unlimited liability company, these people have huge insurance. Their insurance is 500 crores, 1000 crores, इतना huge massive insurances होता है इनके पास. Okay, so owing to this reason, so what happens is, in case the company commits any loss, okay, these people are there to set off. So investors are very happy investing, because in spite of the loss, the market or the share prices do not fall, because losses are made good by the insurance company. See, when the company has taken such huge level of insurance, no, what happens is, no, your creditors or your bankers are ready to lend you money, because they know कि मेरा पैसा डूबेगा नहीं. In case if loss is happening, okay, these people are there to give me a protection. So in creditors भी पैसा जल्दी देंगे, bankers भी पैसा जल्दी देंगे, and because you have good liquidity, your working becomes easier and your share prices go higher and higher only. Understood the logic? That's why it is whenever it's an unlimited company, an investor will only think one thing or only see one thing: what is the amount of insurance? 1000 crore, 2000 crore, 3000 crore. It's huge, humongous insurance these people take. Understood? And that's why, owing to this reason, investors invest, because whatever it is, losses would be set off by the insurance company, and creditors are ready to invest in this company or give loans to this company. Reason being, insurance है तो कुछ भी loss हो जाएगा, my money would not go. Understood? So these are unlimited liability and limited liability. Next is company limited by guarantee, guys. So when I say company limited by guarantee, company limited guarantee is one such company wherein no share capital is there. So when the company, so no share capital, so no limited liability wala clause. Here the subscribers give a guarantee that in case of any such problem arises, okay, we guarantee that up to this much amount would be set off by us. This is called as company limited by guarantee, wherein no share capital is involved. A guarantee is given by the subscribers. Okay, in case of losses, so and so amount would be set off by us. Logically understood? Limited liability, unlimited liability, and company limited by guarantee. Limited means limited up to the share face value of shareholder. इतना shares सिर्फ इतना ही तुमको देना है, उससे ज़्यादा तुमको नहीं देना है. Okay? When I say unlimited means even for one share, your personal assets would be liable. That is unlimited. Okay? There is no upper cap on how much of your things would be taken by them. And the third is limited by guarantee, means you are not taking any share capital, but you are giving a guarantee that in case if this loss has happened, then this much I will take off or a set off, or I'll bone this much. This is called as company limited by guarantee. Okay, now let's just read about it little, guys, before we go ahead. So we have seen classification based on incorporation, and now we are talking about classification based on liability. Companies can be classified into following three categories on the basis of liability. Unlimited, the liability of the member is unlimited. Unlimited means a company not having any limit on the liability of the members. Such companies may or may not have share capital. They may either be public or private. Members are liable to the company and to any other person. Okay. Then company limited by guarantee provides that a company that has the liability to its member limited to such amount as the member may undertake responsibility respectively by memorandum of association to contribute to the assets of the company in the event being wound up is known as limited by guarantee. Share capital nahi hota. So when the company is getting winding up is going on of the company, whatever they have agreed upon, they would do good of so much of losses. That is called as the members of a guarantee company are placed in a position of guarantors of the company's debt up to the agreed amount. The members are liable to the company and to any other person up to the extent of guarantee. So if I give a guarantee of 5 crore, तो मेरी liability 5 crore तक है. It's not unlimited. How much guarantee I have agreed upon, that much is my liability. Okay, and company is limited by share. Okay, in this type of company, the liability of its member is limited by the liability clause in the MOA, if any unpaid shares respectively held by them. Section 228 of the Companies Act provide that company limited by share means company having liability to its member limited by the memorandum of to the amount, if any unpaid share respectively held by them. Clear? तो इतना ही होता है. Now guys, have you seen or have you ever noticed, okay, as we were doing the difference I was telling you, okay, here ये मैंने आपको समझाया कि इतना होता है. Now if you see the third difference between private and public is behind the name they write private limited and here only limited. Public limited नहीं लिखते, it's assumed it is a public limited. Why do you think this word limited is added? This limited means liability of members is limited. That's why this word limited goes beyond the name of any company. Understood clearly? So these are your companies limited by liability. Now guys, you would say कि ma'am जब private और public ही है, why are we doing all this classifications? Because you next when we go ahead, no, they will they will not explain anything. मतलब they will straight away talk okay, this is a so and so limited company or so and so company, तो you will not have time कि आप जाके समझो कि हाँ अभी जैसे for example when you in accounts if you study your consolidated statement you will see holding subsidiary के consolidation सिखा रहे. Now if you don't know only what is a holding company, how will you study the consolidations of holding and subsidiary? Understood? So to have a clarity about what type of company you are working with or what type of entity you will have to deal with it, we are doing a detailed classification of all of them. I hope everyone is clear with what is private public, okay, what is companies limited by shares and companies limited by companies classification on the basis of incorporation. Yes, now we talk about classification. This is not there in your book, okay. क्लासिफिकेशन ऑन द बेस ऑफ योर कंट्रोल, मतलब वो लोग अज्यूम करते हैं कि CS के इंटर लेवल स्टूडेंट्स नो अबाउट इट, but I assume कि my students don't know anything about it, so I make it a point to teach it. That's why I'll be talking about it. So we have holding company, subsidiary company, government company or associate company. So these are the types of companies based on your control. Now guys, when I say government company, you all know very clearly government का एक ही चीज है, when more than 50% or you can say 51%, okay, when more than 50% of shares are held by central government. This is what Act says, guys. When more than 50% of shares are held by state government, and third, when more than 50% of shares are held by central and state both. So यहाँ पे और है, it's either by central government or by state government or by both of them. So when the situation is such, it will be called as one government company. Clear? So when more than 50% of the holding is with them, it is called as government company. Now when I say associate company, see, associate में you have to remember 20%. So when more than 20% of shares are held by other company, then this company becomes associate of that company. Now guys, ideally, why do you have to see whether your company is an associate company or not? The reason is what? Say for example, I am a cloth manufacturing company. Okay, assume I am a cloth manufacturing company. Now assume what I was talking about, associate. Now assume I am one manufacturing company. Say for example, I manufacture some electronic goods. Okay, to manufacture this good I need a machinery. Okay, now supposingly I have a friend, or not, I have a brother, okay, who is into this business only. So वो मशीनरी बनाता है टू मैन्युफैक्चर गुड. नाउ इफ आई गो एंड बाय मशीनरी फ्रॉम हिम, ओके, कंपनी लॉ डजंट अलाउ दिस. वो क्या बोलता है, अलाउ करता है, बट यू नीड अ क्लियर disclosure of that. Reason being, what happens is that directors should not enter into any transaction with the related party without the knowledge of the shareholder. Reason being कि कंपनी एंड योर पर्सनल बेनिफिट्स आर डिफरेंट. तो मैं अगर मेरे भाई को ला रही हूँ तो ऑफकोर्स इट इज कमिंग इन द हाउस ओनली, तो कंपनी लॉ ये परमिट नहीं करता. व्हाट दे से कि इन एनी चांस frauds are not allowed. So in case if you are entering into any transaction with your related party, you have to do way more disclosures कि भाई हाँ this is the reason or this is the thing. Now and if someone says कि ma'am we should never do any transaction with related party, what if that person who is giving me the machinery is genuinely good, तो वो कंपनी का लॉस हो जाएगा. So companies act in no way wants a company to undergo any sort of losses. Okay, so what they say कि irrespective, okay, if the deal is good, bad, if it is a related party transaction, a proper disclosure of that has to be done. A proper approval from the members have to be taken. So in case if you have more than 20% of shares of any company, okay, so if that company is your associate company, as per related party transaction act, okay, that is not allowed or it is restricted. So a proper disclosure of the same, because if 20% कंपनी का है तो कंपनी का इंटरेस्ट है उस कंपनी में. Understood? So such transactions need to be disclosed to general public at large. So for this reason, we recognize a company as associate company. So if I have taken so much of share in one particular company, okay, I have invested so much of my money in one particular company, I should not have my personal interest involved there. Getting the logic? So we term this as associate company, and related party transaction mein, if I want to have any transaction with such companies, a disclosure of that is needed. Understood logically? So for the transparency and to avoid frauds, associate companies are recognized under Companies Act. So say for example, if I have acquired 20% or more share of any particular company, it will be recognized as my associate company, and it has to be disclosed everywhere. Okay, and tomorrow if I'm entering into any transaction, it should not be in the selfish interest of the directors. It should always be in the welfare and the better interest of the company. So for this purpose, associates are recognized. Clear? And the last form is your holding and subsidiary. Now guys, holding means what? When I have more than 50% of shares, or if I have acquired more than 50% of share capital of any company, I become the holding company, and that becomes my subsidiary company. Okay, so 50% or more share capital acquisition. Now guys, okay, so what is the definition of a holding company? So Companies Act बोलता है company which is not a subsidiary company is a holding company. Okay, so it has given a too much of detailed explanation of a subsidiary company, but holding में सिर्फ इतना ही बोला है, company which is not a subsidiary is a holding company. So now what is subsidiary company? Subsidiary company means whose 50% shares are acquired by any company. First. Second, they say control over that company, means this holding company, ये जो holding company है, now this is subsidiary. So what they say, 50% is acquired. Second, holding has complete control over that company. So which resolution to pass, how to work, everything would be governed by that holding company. And third important thing, by forming layers. What do you mean by forming layers? Say for example, I am Tata Group. Okay, यहाँ पे है Jaguar. Suppose this is Ford Motors, and suppose यहाँ पे Toyota. This is not the real thing, I'm just telling you. Now say for example, Tata has acquired 50% of shares of Jaguar. Okay, more than 50. Suppose assume 51. Now Jaguar has 52% of Ford, and Ford has 53% of Toyota. So Toyota is subsidiary of Ford, Ford Motors is subsidiary of Jaguar, and Jaguar is subsidiary of Tata. Then in this case, this holding company has control over all these three subsidiaries. This is called as by forming layers. Understood? So because this person has control over this, Jaguar will have control over Toyota also. Okay, and this Tata, sabse upar, they will have control on all the three layers. Logically, are you getting the difference? Then this is called as subsidiary becomes subsidiary of the holding company. Are you getting it, what I'm trying to tell? Subsidiary of a subsidiary company becomes subsidiary of the holding company too. So subsidiary of the subsidiary company, subsidiary of the subsidiary company becomes subsidiary of the holding company too. So by forming layers. So this is your holding and subsidiary. And holding and subsidiary ke in accounts we prepare consolidated statements. Means we'll have a combined way of accounting of this type of companies. Okay, इनकम टैक्स के बहुत सारे प्रोविजंस आएंगे which I am not the person to speak to. So this is your holding and subsidiary. So these are the types of companies based on control. So if 50% or more is with government, it is called as government. If 20% or more is with your what I say other group, other company में है, it becomes associate. And if you invest instead of 20, if you invest more than 50, you become the holding company. So you have a complete control on the working of your subsidiaries. Clear? So these are the types of companies that are available on the basis of control. So today we have basically spoken about 3 types of thing. मतलब इतना हमने आज कर दिया है. Basically we have spoken about what is private company, what is public company. I have told you private means a group of closely knit company people who have come together for some common purpose and wants to work under a special identity. That is your private company. Companies which are not private are public. Minimum 227, maximum 200, and no upper cap is prescribed as per company law. OPC is of course 1% company. So there are 3 types of companies. Now number of directors and name, yeah, basically 3 differences hote hain udhar. Okay, so and then of course for shares in private, general public cannot come to subscribe for the shares because it is a bunch of group closely knit. In public, yes, general public can come for and subscribe for the shares of that company. Then we saw कि ये private public के further classification. So it is based on incorporation, liability, control, others and new breed. These are basically this type of classification. Registered means registered under Companies Act 2013 with ROC. Unregistered means which comes from king and queen, and statutory means which are registered under special law of parliament and no provisions of Companies Act 2013 applies to them. Limited, company is limited by shares means the liability is limited only till the face value of share. Unlimited means your liability is unlimited. There is no upper cap prescribed on the liability over here. And when company limited by guarantee means how much you have agreed upon, that much you will have to make the losses good. Okay. And then company is limited by control, government, when more than 50% of the holding is with government, it is called as government company. Okay, when more than 20%, if you have acquired 20% of any company, that company becomes your associate company. Then holding company, when you have acquired more than 50% of shares of any company, that company becomes your then that company becomes your subsidiary company and you become your holding company. Subsidiary mein you have to remember one thing, आपके 50% share is been acquired, your control is in someone else's hand. And number 3, when I talk about subsidiaries, they layers of multiple layers are created, so which whoever is your subsidiary will ultimately become the subsidiary of your holding company as well. Clear? So these are the various types of companies that we have studied for our today's recording. I think we are done with the time. Tomorrow we will talk about other forms of companies, wherein I will be talking about section 8 company, foreign company, producer company, what is Nidhi company, listed company, small company, and in detail we shall study about private, public, OPC, that are the basic 3 types of companies. Then Nidhi also they have spoken about, too much of Nidhi they have spoken, we'll talk about that. Okay, and section 8 company, so in detail they have spoken about प्रोड्यूसर कंपनी, फॉरेन कंपनी, अच्छे से पूरा कंपनी लॉ के प्रोविजंस के साथ समझाया है. एंड देन वी विल बी डूइंग द ड्राफ्टिंग ऑफ इनकॉर्पोरेशन डॉक्यूमेंट्स. We will be talking about the names, all the 5 clauses of MOA, all that we will study. A very interesting chapter. So tomorrow we'll be talking about something nice. So this week we'll be probably completing this chapter, and too much good to do and good to go. Okay, all the registrations, and they have shown how it works basically. So ठीक है, easy है, but we will study. Okay. So I think this is it for today's class. Okay, tomorrow we shall talk about the other types of companies and in detail we'll be talking about your private limited company and public limited company. So what exactly it is, how it works. So in coming session, we have too much to go, more to study, more to do. So this is it for today's session. I hope everyone was clear with chapter first that we have completed, and this types of companies which I have discussed in detail will be doing about other companies in tomorrow's class. Producer, foreign, section 8, Nidhi, private, public. So all this in detail will be doing tomorrow. So stay tuned. Next lecture, don't miss any lecture, because this is the foundation of your finals. I have been through all this, so I know how much it is. Okay, though my expertise is in company law, I have seen the real difficulties which I have faced. पढ़ा सब कुछ है, but जब उसको लगाने बैठते हैं ना, really into implication, how much you have to think, how much brainstorming it is, that task you will understand once you come into practice. Till date, it's been 10 years of me practicing company law. Till date, while I am doing some work which is really critical, I still have to open hundreds of references के how do I interpret this, इसका और कैसे हो सकता है, what are they trying to tell you here. So it is not easy. That's why please don't miss a single class, because certain key thing no, अभी जैसे कोई तुमको नहीं बताएगा कि अनलिमिटेड कंपनी कोई क्यों बना रहा है, बिकॉज वहाँ पे इंश्योरेंस मिलता है और वो सब होता है, and why would someone invest in that. So all those things which a professional person thinks no, वो सब तुम खुद से नहीं कर पाओगे. So for that you have to listen to the things. Sometimes it might be boring because बहुत सारा theory है, but too much to learn because act है तो बहुत सारा पढ़ना है इसमें. So I expect you all to listen to all the recordings, all the classes repeatedly here and here, and we are doing it from the module itself. So I don't see anything which is getting missed out, and after every chapter we'll of course be doing the test your knowledge portion also, exercise part also, so nothing gets left out. Okay, this is it for today's session. Thank you so much. See you. Bye.